gentlemen and ladies, my name is Chad, and welcome to the custom card review. Now, without further ado, I don't know why I did the Scottish accent. I don't know why. So, yeah. I wanted to be real pumped up. That's why I'm doing it. So, now, let's begin. So, in this custom card review, he made this card called Fortune Gamble thing, like Fortune Ladies, or no, Fortune's Luster thing. So let's start with the monsters. So in this archetype is a fusion of Trap Booster and here. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, let me show you. So let's do. Where is that stupid? So yeah. So Trap Booster. Let me go over the two cards that fused into making this archetype. So Trap Booster has basically it's a quick play spell card. Discard one card this turn. You can activate one trap card from your hand. And then there's the Gamble Angel Bunny. She's a Earth level 4 fairy effect monster where the attack is 1,200 attack and defense. And her effect is basically once per turn, you can toss a coin and call it. And if you call it right, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent's side points. If not, you take 1,000 damage. So I kind of fused them together to create this archetype. So let's start off with the Fortune's Gambler. And all these images are the, like this guy that says like Fortune Gambler. Is it all these images I created using the AI image to create them. So some of them are kind of messed up, but they look adorable when, yeah. So let's start with Fortune Gambler. He's an Earth level 4 spellcaster effect monster. When this card is summoned, you can flip a coin. And if you call it right, draw 2 cards. If you call it wrong, take 500 damage. If you activate a trap card this turn, you can double the number of cards drawn instead. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, quick effect, you can shuffle this card into the deck. During the rest of your next turn, you always get hedge until the end phase of your next turn. So basically, yeah. You can only use this effect for once per turn. So basically what it means is basically if you call it right, you can and draw 2 cards, or if you call it wrong to 500, activate cards or trap cards. So like, yeah. So then this card, hold on. I did 2 monsters. So I'm gonna do Fortune Servant next before we get into the big boss monster. This card is normal summoned. You can toss a coin and call it. And if you call it right, then you can special summon 2 more copies of this card to your field home. If you call it wrong, either player cannot activate any card effects until your next turn. And so, yeah. Once per turn, you can select one fortune snare or whatever the spell card / trap card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. All monsters on your field gains 500 attack. You can only use its effects for once per turn. So then So, and then the big boss monster is Lady Luck Chokehold. So she's a dark level 8 monster. No need. And she's a fiend effect monster where, let me zoom in on her effects. So basically, go back. So her effects are, there. Okay. This card cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be first be special summoned by attributing 2 monsters from your field to the graveyard. Once per turn, you can flip a coin. And if you win, or if you call it right, you can activate 1 trap card from in your graveyard without paying its cost. If you call it wrong, then you must discard 1 card. And if this card's if this effect is activated and resolves successfully, draw 1 card. This card gains 200 attack or each trap card in your graveyard. If a trap card you control is activated, you can draw 1 card. And if this card is destroyed by battle or by card effects, you can special summon 1 fortune snare monster from your graveyard, except her. This monster gains 500 attack and defense until the... So, and if you lose a gamble during your turn, you may send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, negate that effect of the gamble, and draw 2 cards instead. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle 1 spell / trap card from your graveyard or battle zone into the deck. Special summon this card to your field in attack mode. And you don't take damage, so yeah. So now we're moving on to the spells and trap cards. So let's start with the spell card. So, called Risking Ranson. Yeah, it's a quick play spell card. You pay 1,000 life points and flip a coin or 2 coins, and for each coin lands on, like heads, edge, draw 1 card, and if it's for each tails, you can add 1 spell or trap card from your graveyard or battle zone to your hand. And if you draw more than 1 card, well, through this effect, you can activate one of the hose trap cards immediately. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card to your battle zone. You gain 2,000 life points for each trap card that was activated during this turn. So there's like, basically would be 5 trap cards. If you played a trap heavy deck, basically. Yeah, so then now we're moving on to, oh, I forgot one. So this one might be broken. Depends on, on if you use it with another card that I do like, is called Bad Reaction to Samachi. That's the English version. But in the Japanese version, it's translated as Bad Reaction to Drugs, basically. I'm not that kind of person that really likes I really don't like the Japanese versions. Yeah. So, besides that, now we're on to Fortune Best Jackpot. It's a quick play spell card. You can toss a coin and call it. And if you call it right, you draw cards from the top of your deck to your hand until you have 7 cards in your hand. And also, your life points get set to 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait. I think trillions, because I don't remember. Like 1 trillion life points. If you call it wrong, your opponent draws 7 cards and from their deck to their hand, and also they gain million thing. So life points. You can only use this effect for once per turn, once per duel. Because, yeah, it's a pretty busted card. For this card, could be like, once you activate it, you can basically, if you get a coin flip and you had bad reaction to Samachi already active, no matter what, you actually win the duel. Because if you had bad reaction to Samachi and this card, out. Yeah. So now, that's one way to win. So now we're on to the trap cards, where this is cards that are trap heavy, so it needs their own trap cards. So, let's begin with Fortune Trap. It's a trap card, counter trap that I used. And if your opponent activates a spells or trap cards, or flip a coin, and if you call it right, negate it and destroy it to the graveyard. If you call it wrong, you can reveal your hand to your opponent, and if if any cards in your hand has fortune snare in its text or in name, you can draw 3 cards, additional 3 cards. And if your opponent declares an attack while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Earn to the banish zone, negate it, and then make it the end phase. So basically, it's, So then we got the, like, basically a basket of luck. I do like this because I created it. Like, can you create this? So, yeah. If your opponent declares an attack, flip a coin, and if you call it right, negate the attack and inflict damage equal to your opponent's side points, or inflict damage equal to your opponent's side points, and if you call it wrong, you must discard a card from your hand. If you activate this trap card after a successful gamble effect, you can activate it from your hand. If your opponent activates a card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can shuffle this card into the deck, negate it, and then banish it to the banish zone. And if you do, then you draw 3 cards from the top of your deck, basically. So, this card, compared to the other 2 cards, or the other cards in this archetype, would have to be tier 1 or tier 2. Depends on how powerful But it will be stopped by, like, saying Jinzo or, because there's cards that are in this archetype that would be powerful, as I pointed to. So, like, this card will always get us heads if you basically shuffle this card into the deck. And, so during the rest of your next turn, you always get heads. So if you activate, like, trap cards and you say heads and you call it right, and then a lot of good things will happen. Like, you summon him and you call heads and it will be right. And you summon 2 more copies of itself out, and also to your field. So then you could also bring out her because she can't be normal summon or set. Must be special summoned by attributing 2. So basically 2 of them to summon her. And because both of them are at a casino, basically gambling, and she can use her, like, toss a coin and activate. So basically you use this archetype might be busted because of, or how broken it is, because with all of that power, like, from one card in through this entire archetype, would probably give you, like, tier 1 by just using gamble cards with the other archetypes. And so like I normally choose like the wrong ones, and plus this actually mixed with the bad reaction to Samachi thing, your opponent actually would automatically lose the duel. Like, they just done. I'm done. Now I'm leaving. So, yeah. And I hope Mr. Duel Logs or the Florentine Yu-Gi-Oh! Is watching this video. The name, and I'm really want to duel Florentine Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I feel lucky today, so yeah. So if you do guys like these archetypes where I basically put gamble cards, and because he's gamble cards, if I lose at the duel, somehow this card could get me out of duels, like, done, okay. But if you play it with like some card like Seal of Alacalcos or the anime effect, you could bring in a lot of souls. Just imagine all the souls just like doing like cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Yeah. Of like gambling. So yeah. And Mr. Duel Logs, if you're watching this, please remove the emos only stuff, because that is just annoys me. And yeah. So that's just my opinion to Mr. Duel Logs. So yeah. And Florentine Yu-Gi-Oh!, if you're watching this, please, he's duel me, because I feel like dueling you in the Seal of Alacalcos challenge. If you want to do it, hit me up on Discord, okay? Promise. So, peace out, Cub Scouts, and have a good night or day, depends on the time zones. And let me see how long this video took, and yes. And hold on. Let me add one more card to this, like, before we leave. Okay, so the card that I will choose randomly had to be a Monster Reborn. Or should I say, Reborn of the Scrab Scar Knight, or Kingdom. So, this card allows me to basically summons, it's like Monster Reborn, but it is treated as a Scrap Scar monster on the field, so basically it gets turned into something like this, but without the night part. And have a good night or day, depending on the time zones. Peace.